The autopsy report for Adam the Woo is finally complete, and what doctors discovered has ended weeks of uncertainty while raising a new wave of reflection among those who followed his life closely. The report, issued by the Orange County Medical Examiner in late January 2026, arrived far sooner than anyone expected. Family members had been told the findings could take up to 3 months. Instead, the results appeared quietly in an email just weeks after Adam's sudden death, bringing answers many people feared might never come. For days after his passing, questions lingered without resolution. Adam was active, he was traveling, he was uploading videos, nothing suggested an ending was near. That gap between how he lived and how he died created a silence filled with speculation. Now the official report has broken that silence. According to the findings shared publicly by Adam's father, Jim Williams, the manner of death has been ruled natural. The cause of death was listed as atherosclerotic and hypertensive cardiovascular disease, with obesity cited as a contributing factor. In medical terms, Adam suffered a fatal heart event while asleep. The report spans 9 pages and contains extensive clinical detail, but its conclusion is clear. There was no trauma, no foul play, no external cause. What happened came from within. That clarity, however, does not make the news easier to accept. Jim Williams chose to share the autopsy results himself, posting a public message on Facebook that was addressed not only to close family and longtime friends, but also to the countless people around the world who had followed Adam's life through his videos. In his words, Jim recognized how difficult the waiting period had been, describing it as a time filled with unanswered questions and emotional pressure. He explained that the family had been told to expect a long process, possibly stretching over several months, and had slowly prepared themselves for that uncertainty. Instead, the final report arrived much sooner than expected, catching them off guard. Jim said the early arrival of the findings brought clarity, but also forced the family to confront the reality of Adam's loss more quickly than they had anticipated. The words many had been waiting for were finally written: natural causes. But that simple phrase did not erase the shock. Adam the Woo, whose legal name was David Adam Williams, was only 51 years old. To those who watched him daily, the diagnosis felt impossible to reconcile with the man they saw on screen. Adam walked constantly. His job required movement, stamina, and long days on his feet. Some days he covered miles without stopping. He explored cities, parks, and forgotten places with steady energy and curiosity. He did not appear fragile, he did not appear unwell. Physically, Adam stood over 6 feet tall. While the report classified him as obese by medical standards, he was not what many viewers would consider severely overweight. In fact, Adam often spoke about walking as part of his daily routine. He rarely appeared winded, he rarely slowed down. That contrast is what makes the autopsy findings so unsettling. According to those close to him, Adam had taken steps to monitor his health in the year before his death. He had obtained health insurance. He had begun regular medical checkups. He openly acknowledged that turning 50 was a turning point, a moment to be more aware of his body and his future. He knew time mattered. And yet, the autopsy suggests that serious cardiovascular disease was developing quietly, without obvious warning signs. Conditions like high blood pressure and arterial plaque buildup can progress silently for years, especially in people who remain active. In Adam's case, those hidden conditions reached a critical point without giving him a chance to react. Jim Williams explained that the report confirmed Adam died peacefully in his sleep, likely without pain or awareness. That detail, painful as it is, offered the family a measure of comfort. There was no prolonged suffering, no emergency scene, no fear. Another detail Jim emphasized was where Adam died. Given Adam's constant travel schedule, his family had quietly feared a very different outcome. Adam spent much of his life moving from place to place, often alone, staying in unfamiliar hotels, rental homes, and sometimes traveling outside the country. That reality made the uncertainty surrounding his death even heavier. Jim later shared how grateful the family was that Adam passed away at home, in a place that was familiar and safe to him, resting in his own bed rather than in a distant location. He also emphasized how important it was that Adam was discovered by friends who cared about him, not by a nameless stranger. For the family, that detail brought a small sense of peace during an otherwise painful moment. At the time of his death, Adam was still actively creating content. Videos filmed shortly before his passing continued to appear in recommendation feeds, creating an eerie sense of presence after loss. Many viewers watched those videos again, noticing nothing out of the ordinary, no warning, no goodbye. One video in particular drew attention, Filmed in North Carolina, Adam explored a retro-themed airbnb filled with classic arcade games and vintage consoles. The vlog lasted over an hour. Adam laughed, explored, and immersed himself fully in the experience. Watching it now, many describe the same feeling. He looked happy, he looked alive, he looked like himself. That is where the disbelief deepens. Adam had plans for 2026. He had destinations in mind. He had ideas waiting to be filmed. Like most people, he believed there was time. In his father's message, Jim reflected on that reality, reminding readers how fragile assumptions about tomorrow can be. Life, he wrote, is brief, no matter how full it seems. The release of the autopsy report has ended speculation, but it has also triggered reflection. Many viewers have said Adam's passing pushed them to schedule checkups, rethink their diets, and pay closer attention to symptoms they once ignored. His death has become a reminder that serious illness does not always announce itself loudly. Adam was laid to rest in a private ceremony weeks before the autopsy findings were released. His sister later shared images of his resting place. Visitors have continued to arrive, leaving flowers and notes. A permanent headstone has not yet been placed, as the ground must settle before that step can be taken. Now, with the report complete, the unanswered questions have finally stopped. The cause is known, the manner is confirmed. What remains is Adam's legacy. He was not a creator driven by controversy or performance. He shared moments quietly, consistently, and honestly. His videos felt less like content and more like companionship. He invited people to walk with him, not watch him. And even now, long after the final report has been signed, that invitation still echoes, not as a mystery, but as a memory of a life that moved forward until it suddenly, silently, stopped.